things. It's Iain at RTO here. Hope you're all well on this Friday. Before we start, just a couple of little things. Yesterday it seemed like I had, when I recorded the Golden Earring album artwork show, there was a little bit of interference from somewhere. So last night myself and Mastermind Dave had a look at it to see if there was anything we could do. We've fiddled about with the audio recording and hopefully it'll work today. There's been a bit of lip sync not right. I don't know what's going on there. It's on one or two bits, but we think we've rectified the problem. And the other thing is, I said on Wednesday that next week in Sammy Hagar we're doing the War Burritos, and I was wrong because I forgot to mention that he did a one-off album with Neil, Sean, Peter and Shreve called Through the Fire. So that is what we'll be looking at next week in the Sammy Hagar story. And don't forget, next Thursday the live stream is back, so looking forward to that. Anyway, that's the end of the notices for today, and let's concentrate on live album ranking as we do on Fridays. And today we're looking at English rock band legends in their own lifetime, the mighty Magnum, one of my favourite bands. They've been around a long time now. Split up, even though they did make some music, Tony Clark and Bob Catley. They're still going strong today. They've had undergone several changes, but they're still as good as ever. So today we're going to concentrate on their live albums. I think there's a couple of, at least one or two honourable mentions that are not in the official catalogue, but there are a couple that are worth a mention. So officially they have released 9 live albums, so we'll have a look at those live albums. So coming in at number 9, before I start, I love them all. I love the Magnum live. They are a great band. I have seen them quite a few times. It's hard to remember how many times I've seen them. I do remember the first time I saw them, Milton Keynes Bowl, on the garden party tour. And I went out and brought, because Vigilante wasn't out, I went and brought on a Storyteller's Night. So there we are. So coming in at number 9 then, this is a live album that was released in the year 2000, and it's called Days of Wonder. It was recorded in 1976 and was recorded at the Railway Inn in Birmingham. So this is basically like a pub gig. So on here we've got Tony Clark on guitars, Bob Catley on vocals, Wally Lowe on bass, Richard Bailey on keyboard and flutes. Now Richard Bailey now plays in Kingdom of Madness, which is basically full of ex-Magnum members, and they do all this old stuff, which is pretty cool. And then the original drummer, Kex Gorin, who sadly is no longer with us. So on this little album, there's quite a lot, there's 15 tracks. We've got Invasion, these are all them early great songs. Everybody Needs, Master of Disguise, great track that is. Kingdom of Madness, of course, is just brilliant. Universe, Baby Rock Me, another one of the old early classics. Moving On, Find the Time, Stormbringer, Without Your Love, Lord of Chaos, and All Come Together. That's a great track, Lord of Chaos. Then they do a little cover of a little song called Run Around Sue. In the Beginning, great track, All My Life, love that track. The Battle, a great track to end the album. I can't really fault this. It's got rawness, it's got atmosphere, it's got that close small gig thing, and it's, for considering this is 76, it sounds great. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, coming in at number 8, Uh, this is an album released in 1980 and it's called Marauder, and it was recorded at the Marquee Club on the 15th of December 1979. It was a thing that Jet brought out because Magnum 2 hadn't been successful, so they thought they'd bring something out to try and boost up the ratings, as they say. So on here we've got Tony Clark in again, Bob Catley, Wally Lowe, Kex Goring and Richard Bailey. This one opens up with If I Could Live Forever, which is a great track. As I said, the battles on here, which is brilliant. Then we get Foolish Heart, another really old classic. In the Beginning, the brilliant Reborn and Changes, So Cold the Night and Lord of Chaos. Better is the production on this is a little bit better. Not as many tracks as Invasion, but it's still great, and they sounded great even back in the day. I really like this little album as well, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. Okay then, coming in at number 7, this album was released in 1989, and it's Invasion Live, and it was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee on the 29th of April 1982 when they were supporting Ozzy Osbourne. Change of personnel in this one. We've still got Tony Clark in, Bob Catley, Wally Lowe, but now Mark Stanway is on keyboards, and of course Mark is now involved with, he started up Kingdom of the Madness. I've seen them. Mark is a great bloke, met him, had a really nice chat with him. He's an excellent chap. And Kex Goring is on the drums. This one opens up with the wonderful track from Trace the Dragon, Soldier on the Line. Reborn, the wonderful Sacred Heart. The Spirit, brilliant stuff. Changes, All My Life, Invasion, Kingdom of Madness, great version on here. Then we get Little Run Around Sue again. Another solid performance. Songs from, supporting the Chase the Dragon, which is a great album. This is again, the sounds good. It's a good little album. Going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 6, more up to date now, an album released in 2019, live at the Symphony Hall in Birmingham, recorded on the 19th of April 2018. This is the first time it was a live album that featured Rick Benton on the keyboards and Lee Morris on the drums, and it also was an album that features a different singer for a bit. And it was the last album with Al Barrow on the drums, on the bass, sorry. I'm totally this morning, aren't I? So on here we've got Tony Clark on guitar, Bob Catley vocals, Al Barrow on the bass, Rick Benton keyboards, Lee Morris drums, and guest vocalist Tobias Sammet. Some really good tracks on here from the later days. We've got When We Were Younger, great track. Sacred Blood, Divine Lies, super track, one of the great classics of the new days. Lost on the Road to Eternity, this featured Tobias Sammet, great track. Crazy Old Mothers, another solid track. Without Love, Dreams Won't Die, Peaches and Cream, which is a great track. Love that track. How Far Jerusalem, classic. Le Mans Dansant, another classic. Show Me Your Hands, All England's Eyes, brilliant. Vigilante, classic. The brilliant Don't Wake the Lion, The Spirit, and When the World Comes Down. Always, never been a great lover of that. Again, a great album. And when you listen to Bob sing on this, you listen to sing some of the classics. He can still sing them. They haven't changed much of the pitch at all. It's a great album. brilliant production, nice, crisp and clear, and you wouldn't know that the rest of the band were not like the original members of the band, because they still play them absolutely brilliantly. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.2. Okay, coming in at number 5, an album released in 2014, and it is Escape from the Shadow Garden, live in 2014. Recorded in various places on the European tour. Different people on this. You still got Tony Clark and Bob Catley and Al Barrow. Mark Stanway is still on the keyboards, and Mr. Harry James from Thunder is on the drums on this one, because he sort of was with Thunder and he did some stuff with Magnum as well. So on here we got Live Till You Die, Black Skies, another great track, Freedom Days, brilliant, Dance of the Black Tattoos, great track, and it's even better live. Blood Red Laughter, pretty cool track. Unwritten Sacrifice. Let me go into some of them classics. We get How Far Jerusalem, Le Mans Dansant, and Falling for the Big Plan, excellent. All England's Eyes, Vigilante, Kingdom of Madness, an enjoyable album. Not a bad track on here. It's a great mixture of new and stuff off the album they were touring with, of course, Escape from the Shadow Garden. Excellent album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.4. Okay then, coming in at number 4, released in 1991, The Spirit. This was recorded during the Goodnight LA tour. The selections, recordings from the bands are made accordingly from the band's live set. The band selected the recording that they were most happy with, although it was originally intended to be a double CD covering the full set, but it was changed to cut costs, which is such a shame. On here we've got the classic, what I call the classic lineup of Magnum. We've got Tony Clarklin, Bob Catley, Wally Lowe, Mark Stanway and Mickey Barker. Another guy that I've met, great chap. Having trouble with me voice today, sorry about that, folks. So we get the introduction, which you get the sleigh ride thing, goes into Vigilante, great, Days of No Trust, Mama, one of the better tracks off Goodnight LA, Need a Lot of Love, Pray for the Day, which is a great track off the Days of No Trust, Le Mans Dansant, Reckless Man, great, How Far Jerusalem, of course, The Spirit, On a Storyteller's Night, Rocking Chair, another good little rocker from Goodnight LA, Kingdom of Madness, Sacred Hour, and When the World Comes Down. Great album, great production, but the only thing that lets it down a little bit is some of the fading out of the tracks, which sort of I think must be this cost-cutting thing, which is such a shame. I hope one day they put this out in its full entirety. I saw them on this tour and they were brilliant. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, coming in at number 3. This is released in 1997. Now, it's called Stronghold in the UK, and there's the UK cover, but in the rest of Europe it was called The Last Dance, and there's the other cover. It was recorded in Cologne in Germany in 1995, and this is just before they split up as well. This is like the last tour before they did that split. So we got the classic lineup of Tony Clarklin, Bob Catley, Wally Lowe, Mark Stanway and Mickey Barker. Get the usual sort of intro, then changes, great to hear that on this. Back to Earth, which is one of my favourite tracks by Magnum. The brilliant Just Like an Arrow, Love Is a Stranger, Le Mans Dansant, the brilliant Two Hearts, Rock Heavy, great track, How Far Jerusalem, pretty cool, and then the Tool Ships, which is one of the best songs on the Rock Art album and one of my favourite songs. Then we get The Spirit, Days of No Trust, Wild Swan, Start Talking Love, Rocking Chair, Vigilante, Kingdom of Madness, a drum solo for Mr. Barker, Telltale Eyes, The Last Dance, Sacred Hour. And I've got the album that's got the bonus tracks on it, and you get a great version of Only in America, which is from the Sleepwalking album. That's a great version. That was recorded at the Birmingham Town Hall along with You Are the One. Really good album this is. Allegedly their last out tour, but of course they come back, which we knew they would. It's got some excellent versions of the songs on here. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.6. Okay, then coming in at number 2. Now it's quite funny that these next 2 albums supported, well, one of them didn't support, but remember my album ranking, they go very similar. So coming in at number 2 is, this was released in 2008, and it's Wings of Heaven Live. This album was recorded on the 20th anniversary of Magnum's Wings of Heaven album. This was recorded in 2007 at various places, and some of the songs I've never played, and this album is actually dedicated to Gex Coran, who sadly died on the 21st of December 2007, which was a nice gesture. So on here we've got Tony Clarkin, Bob Catley as ever, Al Barrow, Mark Stanway and Harry James. So we open up with When We Are Younger. Now, there's not many versions of this song, next song, out there live. I've got a copy which we'll talk about in a bit. Backstreet Kid, great track. Out in the Shadows is a great track. Brothers We Stand is brilliant on here. How Far Jerusalem, pretty cool as ever. Dragons Are Real, All England Eyes, Vigilante and the Kingdom of Madness. That's on this one. So this too is the whole of Wings of Heaven. I think this is the definitive version of Wings of Heaven, actually. You know, this was recorded in the 80s, so the production on it, I mean, I love the album, but I think sometimes the production is that 80s production, but this is raw and it's great. So we get Days of No Trust, Wild Swan, which is great on here. Start Talking Love, brilliant. One Step Away is brilliant. Even It Must Have Been Love sounds a lot better live. It's got a lot more atmosphere. Different Worlds is a classic track. Pray for the Day, brilliant. And then we get the definitive version of Don't Wake the Lion. Well, one of them, because there's another one, but on the official albums this is a great version of it. It's brilliant. And the album closes with the brilliant Sacred Hour. Superb to hear, my second favourite Magnum album live, and as I said, it's the definitive version of the album, and I love it. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of a 9.9. So my number 1. It's a reason because it was recorded on the tour that supported my favourite album, of course, which is A Storyteller's Night. And this album is called The River Sessions. It was recorded for Radio Clyde. It was recorded on the 28th of May 1985, and this was released in 2004. It's got the classic lineup: Tony Clarkin, Bob Catley, Wally Lowe, Mark Stanway and Mickey Barker. First track on here is Before First Light. Love that. A brilliant version of The Spirit. All England's Eyes, brilliant. The Light Burned Out, brilliant version on here. Endless Love is brilliant. How Far Jerusalem. On A Storyteller's Night is brilliant on this. Just brilliant. The Prize, great hearing that live. I love that song. and because it's, you know, it's recorded quite a while ago, and the live version of it really does enhance this, and it is the best version of the prize. The beautiful Le Monde Dansant, Just Like an Arrow, Two Hearts, Soldier on the Line, Changes, Kingdom of Madness, Sacred Hour, and we end up with the last dance. Oh, this is brilliant. To hear a lot of the live versions on the Storyteller's Night album. It's that classic lineup of Magnum, and this is a great album. I play this to death because it's got, again, I think it's got some of the definitive versions of some of them songs off on Storyteller's Night, and again we've got the prize, which is a great version. So I can only give it the 1 mark, and that's 10 out of 10 because it is just a fabulous album. Okay, I have got some honourable mentions for you. I think we got 3. And the first one, now these are all sort of borrowed from Radio 1. Well, 2 of them are. The first one is live at the Milton Keynes Bowl on the 28th of June 1986. The first time I saw them. This was at the Welcome to the Garden party. They were second on the bill with the rest of the... I keep saying this, but we had Mama's Boys, Magnum, Jethro Tull, Gary Moore and Marillion. One of the best lineups I've ever been to. On here we got Tony Clark in Bob Catley, Wally Lowe, Mark Stanway, Mickey Barker. And the set they did, there's a couple missing, but this was Radio 1. We had Vigilante, Changes, How Far Jerusalem, Lonely Night, Just Like an Arrow, Kingdom of Madness, When the World Comes Down. Fond memories of this day. The recording's a little bit, because it was off the radio from the Friday Rock Show, and this is the original radio recording. Bit naughty, but I've got it for nostalgia reasons, really. It's just great. It was just great, and this was basically still part of the Storyteller's Night tour, because Lonely Night he said this is from the new album coming out whenever, I can't remember, so it was the first time I'd heard a new track, but it is, and When the World Comes Down again is off Vigilante. Great little set, really enjoyed it. Now the second little mention, again from Radio, the Friday Rock Show with the music vendor Tommy Vance. This is live at Hammersmith at 1987, March the 13th. Basically they just cut into the set. It's the classic lineup of Tony, Bob, Wally, Mark and Mickey, and the tracks we heard were Need a Lot of Love, great, Two Hearts, It Must Have Been Love, first time they'd sort of played it, and now a track that was going to be on Wings of Heaven, of course, How Far Jerusalem, the only live version of Midnight, You Won't Be Sleeping I've got. Then we get Le Monde Dansant, The Spirit, Backstreet Kid, Lonely Night, Le Monde Dansant, Kingdom of Madness and When the World Comes Down. Some interesting tracks on this. Not a bad recording. Again, I've kept this for nostalgic reasons because this is still the original. I've cleaned it up. It doesn't sound too bad, and it's got a great drum solo for Mickey on this. And the last one, I think everyone knows where this come from. It's the On the Wings of Heaven live, Hammersmith Odeon, 26th of March 1988, from On the Wings of Heaven tour. I wonder where I got this from. Heaven knows. On here we get Back to Earth, my favourite, Vigilante, Wild Swan, Start Talking Love, and I think probably the best live version of On the Storyteller's Night. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. You get a little bit at the beginning, and it's the best, it's the closest you get to the original guitar solo on the album, and there's a lovely piece of keyboard for Mark on that. It's terrific. Need a Lot of Love, Pray for the Day, How Far Jerusalem, One Step Away, Days of No's Trust, It Must Have Been Love, and a brilliant version of Don't Make the Lion. absolutely stunning version. Just Like an Arrow, Kingdom of Madness, and the Sacred Hour. Brilliant stuff. Saw them on this tour. I think I saw, this is recorded in March. I saw them at Christmas of '87. I saw them in Birmingham, and then I saw them at Christmas '88 because they played there again in the Christmas of '88 on the Christmas tour. It's just a brilliant set, brilliant songs, and I love it. Oh, I have got another one as well. This is called Live in London. This is on Spotify actually. That's why I've mentioned it. It's actually on there, and it was recorded at the Camden Palace in London in 2005. And we got How Far Jerusalem, Before First Light, On a Storyteller's Night, All England's Eyes, Le Monde Dansant, Just Like an Arrow, Lights Burned Out, Endless Love, Two Hearts, Soldier of Love, which is great, Kingdom of Madness, Sacred Hour. This, of course, is a classic lineup I didn't mention. It's Tony, Bob, Wally, Mark and Mickey, and it's great. And if you want to listen to it, it is on Spotify. So there we are. That's all for today with live music. I'll be back later, of course. We've got a one-off album this week because there are so many new albums out at the moment. I'm listening to 3 of them have all literally come out within a matter of a week of each other. I'm listening to them at the moment. We're going to get the first new one the following week because I've had to throw in Sammy Hagar thing. But we got an album called The Path by a band called Tale Teller, and Tale Teller are basically an Hungarian version of Nightwish. So again, that album is on Spotify, which we'll talk about later. So I will see you later for that. Bye for now.